Here, okay, yo, Cameron aioli sauce, Oyola. Thank you for the 50-man career. Women are an L. Okay.
Rock on, I guess.
Right.
They're an L. Okay. We have. Does anyone have a thought on that one? Are career women L's?
Well, that would be
For
someone
men,
coming
I
from the standpoint where you said you wanted to date someone 21 rather than 31.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can have a preference, but if you want to date someone 31 who's making six figures rather than a 21-year-old who hasn't done anything yet, that's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, just really quick on that. I mean, my kind of position is that so a career woman, you know, older woman and woman who's 31, perhaps you might think, well, she's bringing her career, her success, her ambition to the relationship, her finances to the relationship. However, my position is, and we've asked a lot of women on the show, you know, in terms of their contribution towards financial contribution towards relation. Well, maybe before I say my point, really quick on this, who should pay for the first date? Kiko.
Whoever asks.
I'm pretty sure you said you. Well, do you ever ask guys out on dates? That's a no.
No.
Okay, have you ever asked a guy out on a date?
No, but like even the relationship I'm in wasn't the first date, but I've paid for dates already.
But he paid for the first. Okay.
The first one, yeah.
Who should pay for the first date?
Yeah, whoever asks, I guess.
Okay.
The guy.
The guy should pay? Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
Um,
A little closer to the mics, guys.
if I ask somebody on a date, I'll typically pay for it, and if another person asks me to go on a date with them, I'll expect them to pay for it.
Okay, so whoever asks. What about you two? Who should pay on the first date?
The guy.
Yeah, the guy, I mean, like, I'm not going to ask someone out on a date, so I'm not going to pay.
I think the guy.
Okay.
And definitely the man.
Okay, so just really quick, you two, whoever asks should pay. More often than not, does the guy ask or do you ask?
A date, I feel like, yeah, probably the man, but I've initiated conversation, so I don't know if that's the same thing.
But more often than not.
Yeah, I mean.
Sure. What about you?
I've much more often I'm going on dates with women, and
Sure.
I'm typically the one asking them, and I'll typically pay, with some exceptions. But you know, most of the dates that I've gone on recently with guys that I can remember, the guys asked me and paid.
Sure. Okay, so I mean, I'm actually kind of surprised. Most people often say whoever asks should pay, but a lot of you just outright said the man should pay. So really quick on the whoever asks thing. I mean, if you say whoever asks should pay, I think we can all acknowledge, though, in almost 99% of instances, men are the one that ask. Ergo, your answer may as well be men should pay, because men are de facto the askers. So your answer may as well be men should pay. To kind of bring it back to the whole career thing. So, and the reason I asked you all why or who should pay, aside from the biological and evolutionary reasons, you know, men were typically the protectors and providers. Aside from that component, men don't care about your success, career, and ambition, chiefly because of the answers you've all just provided. So, just to explain that a little bit, women don't share their resources with men the same way that men share their resources with women. All of you just said either whoever asks should pay, which is typically men, or you said men should pay. So we don't reap a benefit from your success, ambition, or your career, or your money, because you still expect men to adhere to their traditional gender roles. So why should we care?
Not on a sex, Jesus. You're not benefiting on a first date down the line, perhaps, but just for me initially, when I meet someone, from a traditional standpoint, I would want the man who's asking me on a date to pay for the date.
Sure. But I mean, so some girls first date and then they'll go 50-50 thereafter, but a lot of girls, they want it to either persist throughout the entirety of the relationship or at least maybe second, third, fourth date. And I mean, I'm sure, how many of you here does it ever go beyond that first date where the guy already made that initial investment and it didn't go anywhere? But I would say most first dates don't lead to anything. They don't lead to, I mean, everyone's different. Some people have higher success rate than others, but like most first dates don't end up leading to a relationship. They may very well not even lead to a second date or third date. So I would say in my personal experience, probably more than 50% of my first dates, there's not a second date. So to me, that's why men don't care about your success, your career, your ambition, your money, because you guys are not you're not as generous as men are when it comes to sharing your resources, evidenced by all your answers, which were basically the man should pay. And me personally, I don't think men should pay on first dates.
Do you pay on first dates?
Well, it depends a little bit. I'll split the bill. Why do you? It's funny that you scoff and you laugh, but yeah, I'll split the bill.
That's fair. I mean, I think if you're on a first date, say as the man, and you don't see that first date going anywhere, then, you know, obviously if you don't want to do that initial investment, that makes sense. But if you see it going to a second date, to a third date, and you're a traditional man, then you would feel inclined to pay. That's not to say on a first date I do expect it, but going forward, when I like someone, I enjoy paying for things and doing nice things for people. That's not for everyone. That's not the rule, but...
I know you want to come in. Let me just ask one follow-up question, and then I'll get to you, Kiko. So of those of you, I mean, I think you all kind of either said whoever asks should pay or the guy should pay. If you go on the first date with a guy and he says, you know, politely, he's just like, he says, hey, let's get separate checks, let's split the bill. Based off of that alone, will there be a second date?
Probably not.
I've gone on first dates where I've split the bill before.
Okay. Would you view it as like maybe not a deal breaker, but it's kind of like a slight negative that he didn't offer to pick up the whole check?
I usually initiate splitting if I just think that it's not going anywhere, so he just knows that
Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
I feel that.
Because obviously there's connotations that come with a man paying a lot of the time that you expect something in return. So yeah, like what you said, if I wasn't gonna see it going anywhere, then I would also offer to split. But if I'm interested in the person, then I would expect them to pay, and it would be a negative if they didn't.
Okay. Would it be if otherwise the date otherwise went well? Let's say it's not like the most amazing guy you've ever met, but like it went well. However, at the end of the date, he does say, "Hey, let's split the check." Is it a deal breaker?
It's not a deal breaker.
Not a deal breaker, but maybe a little negative mark.
Yeah, I would just remember that.
Sure.
I think that if a man that's taking me on a date is in a really good standing financially, I would fully expect that man to take care of the check. Aren't
you also in a good place financially too, though?
Yeah, okay. I am. But if I'm going to be engaging with a man in a relationship, I feel like, and that man asked me on a date, I would expect to have that date be taken care of by that man, which is not to say that I haven't paid on first dates with men, because I have, and I have split the bill many times. But, I'm going to leave with a better impression if a man pays on a first date.
Okay. What about you?
I mean, if a man splits the bill, I wouldn't be upset. I'd just be like, oh.
Pull the microphone closer towards you so you're not slouching over. You can keep pulling it. So you said the guy should pay, but
if he were to split the bill, I wouldn't be upset that much about it.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, and I feel the same way. And if he asks to split the bill and we do, it's okay, because
would there be a second date for the both of you?
Yeah, I mean,
not
probably.
A deal breaker, but it's a negative, a negative mark.
Yeah.
It's an ick, as they say. Okay.
I mean, it's negative, but after that, if we're going on a second date, I'm going to start splitting and going half. If we're going to the movies, he'll get the tickets, I'll pay for the snacks or whatever.
Sure.
If we're continuing the relationship, we're gonna both contribute.
Okay, and then what about you?
I feel as I'm going into a first date, I'm expecting the guy to pay, but if he asks to split it, I really don't care at all, especially because a lot of the guys I know and that I'm talking to or that I'd be ever talking to, we have very similar like we're earning similar wages. So like I know we're most likely in the exact same financial state. So it really doesn't like bother me if someone asks to split the bill.
Gotcha. Okay. So one question kind of related to this for everyone. Do any of you offer to split? You know, you'll do like kind of the gesture. You'll say, "Oh, let me get it," or not the gesture to split. You'll do the gesture to pay for the whole thing. Do any of you do that on a first date where you're like, you do the reach for the checkbook, or not the fucking checkbook, the fucking purse?
I do that.
No. I do that.
Yeah.
And when you do that, is that to pay for the whole thing or to split?
The whole thing.
You do that? Okay.
Yeah, I've paid for the whole thing.
Yeah, no, but like you do the offer, even though you don't really want the guy to take you up on the offer.
If I offer it, I mean it.
You mean it. Okay.
I do it just for the gesture.
You do it just for the
It's almost like a thank you.
So you do the gesture. However, if the guy is perhaps not socially attuned and he takes you up on the gesture, the offer to pay, you say you pay the whole thing, right?
I could.
You would.
Yeah.
If he takes you up on it, is that a deal breaker?
It's not a deal breaker, but it's a negative.
Okay. Do any of you do the gesture? Oh, let me get it.
No.
No. Okay.
I definitely did not do that gesture when I was in college. I had way
Yeah,
less money.
no.
I don't have money.
It's like a financial strain to pick up the whole bill in college.
Well, just the only reason I say that is just because there's sometimes we've had some women on the show who say, I offer. However, if the guy takes me up on my offer, I'm not gonna see him again. And to me, that's just kind of a bit ridiculous because men were more overt communicators, whereas women tend to communicate more covertly. So we sort of take your word for it. So if a woman offers to pay, we're like, oh, that's kind of nice.
Well, I've had men say to me that they appreciate the offer, even if they don't think it's 100% genuine or they don't want the girl to pay. It's a nice gesture to at least offer.
I guess the point I'm trying to make, though, is there's some girls who will make the offer, and if the guy takes her up on the offer, some girls say, I just won't see him again because he took me up on the offer, which is like, you often hear women complain about men being poor communicators, but that is quite literally being a poor communicator.
Yeah, it is.
Like I don't think that's fair to make an overt offer in the same way if I offered to help a friend, I think it would be unfair of me to, if he takes me up on that offer for help, for me to be like, fuck you, dude. I don't want to be friends with you anymore. I don't know. In any case, go ahead. Oh, did someone want to come in?
I was just saying, I wouldn't personally do it, but I know a lot of women do it as a test. So it's not my personal thing, but.
Does anyone here test, guys? Do you guys do any tests? Nobody?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
No.
Some women do it though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tests are kind of yikes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. So let me continue on with these soup chats.